Hey, welcome to Captain's Quarters First Class, a podcast about outdoor lighting and Christmas lighting. Guys, behind the scenes right now, we have a great guest. He's all amped up. If you could see this little screen right now, so exciting. I'm pumped, really focusing on Christmas lighting because if you are in Christmas, like you should be planning right now. You guys have probably seen him. They make some amazing social media content for their e-commerce and they ship. So I have on, it's going to be Mr. Grant Fields from thunderlightingsupply.com. If you guys have been to any trade show, you've seen him. And what's amazing is it's such a great story. Young guy really coming up and changing everything how we get our materials here. It's been fun. Let's welcome to the stage, Mr. Grant. How are you doing, buddy?
What's up, Captain? How's
it going? That's going good, man. How are you?
Doing good. Nice Tuesday morning out here. Weather finally broke, so spring's coming out, and everyone's hyped to go light it up. So,
hell yeah! I got guys out doing maintenance for landscape lighting, but it's snowing. But you know, it's melting as it lands,
as it comes down. So,
yeah.
All right,
yeah. So, Thunder Lighting Supply. Before we get into kind of like how it happened and all that jazz, you guys just moved, yeah?
We did. We just moved into our new facility. It's like 5 minutes away from where the old shop was. Just a little bit different layout, better setup for us, and obviously just make our customer experience better overall.
Sure. So it's like customers actually come there, walk in, and all that jazz, right?
Yeah. So we do a nice split between walk-in customers as well as e-commerce shipping, and then we also use our facility to host our trainings and events throughout the year. So we wanted somewhere with a little more space, a little more parking, just better suited to our needs to help our customers have an overall better time here.
Okay, awesome. And before we get into the story, I mean, just real quick, Thunder Lighting Supply, Eagle Eye overview. What is it that you guys actually do?
So we're a lighting supplier for landscape lighting, architectural, permanent lighting, and holiday lighting. We try and do more than just be that place where you walk in, there's a guy sitting at the counter and goes, what do you want? You tell him what you want and you leave. We try and make it as easy as possible and as flawless as possible for contractors across the country to get the material they need, and as well as provide the best service. We take pride in having knowledgeable staff here that can help you out with your problems in more than just lighting. We have people on our staff that have been in the business for years, people in this that have 60 employees or have had 60 employees in the past. So they know how to manage crews, they know how to manage, insurance companies and things like that. So we really try and make ourselves a knowledge base for our customers when they have a question, not only about lighting, but about anything that goes on in their business.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I will say, I've ordered stuff from you for the last few years, and man, you guys, I don't even want to call it your follow-up, your communication. Like I have a question, like I might be waiting a few minutes. Like you guys never, I mean, it can be like 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, I'm just going to shoot a message in. And all of a sudden I'm like, why is Grant still awake taking orders right now? So, but kudos to you. Like,
and it's one of those things where a lot of the people that work here have come from the home service industry themselves. And they know, you don't want to sit around and wait for an answer. Sometimes the customer could be waiting for you to get back to them, or, you're waiting to place an order and, we don't want you to have to wait. So why should we make you wait?
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the things that people from New York just come with a fast paced life. So it's one of those things that just, natural to us. Combine that with, wanting to treat the customers the way we want to be treated. It just kind of flows together. So
yeah. I asked you a question 5 seconds ago. I'm off. I'm going somewhere else now.
Yep, that's it.
Right? Yeah. Awesome. Well, okay, let's get into you don't own Thunder Lighting, but you are clearly the face. Yeah.
So I do not own Thunder Lighting Supply. Mike's our boss. He's a great guy. He's in the office every day. He's not like one of those absent-minded people where he's, off in Aruba for, 10 months out of the year, and he pops in once in a while, just to check on everything. He's here every day, which is awesome. So it's one of those things where he's a great guy, and he's just like, hey, listen, you have the vision. Let's go run with it. So we're running with here. We got about 15 employees now, which are awesome, from all different departments across the company. And we always have a great time together.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I've been to trainings and dinners and trade shows with you guys. You definitely are a company that knows how to have fun. That is obvious.
Always.
So tell me though. So, okay, obviously you just didn't walk up to Mike one day. You didn't know him. You were like, hey, I got this great idea. Right. So like, when did you start? Like, did you work for Mike? Obviously you worked for Mike before you
Yeah.
started doing the sales. So like, when did you start working for Mike? Like, how did you get into this industry of outdoor lighting and stuff?
So how I met Mike is actually I used to come buy lights from him when I was an installer. So fast forward to when I was 14 in high school, one of my high school teachers approached me and she's like, "Hey, my brother owns a Christmas light install company. He needs guys to hang lights. You want to go wrap some trees?" And I was
Hmm.
like, "I can go wrap trees, you know. How hard could it be?" And I didn't have a job at the time. You know, when I was in high school, I never worked, you know, your standard high school jobs, you know, working at a fast food chain or like a daycare. And so I was like, you know, let's give it a shot. What could go wrong? So I went and wrapped some trees for him and, you know, tree wrapping, went to bush wrapping and went, you know, all right, now we could, you know, trust the kid. He can wrap a tree. Let's go to the next step with him. And by, you know, the next year when I was 15, 16, we were doing full installs with crews.
Hmm.
And fast forward to my senior year of high school, I was running my own crew. So I'd have my couple guys in high school with me. My boss would drop off the material in my truck at the end of the day. We would go out, we do our couple installs for the night, you know, maybe it was a repair job, a little of this, a little of that, drop the material off the warehouse at the end of the night and go to bed. And, you know, we were pulling offline, you know, 50-hour work weeks while being in high school, you know, whether it be after
Yeah.
school and the weekends. And we were loving it, you know.
Yeah.
It was three of us in a truck, you know, we were all friends prior to that, you know. We were just having a great time hanging lights. And then when I was getting ready to go to college, I went to my boss at the time and I was like, listen, you know, I'm going to college, you know, not that I wanted to go, but it was something that I, you know, was on my path, things to do. I'm like, when I get home, we'll talk about, you know, where I'm going to be at next in the business. And he's like, why? I'm like, what do you mean why? He's like, why don't you just start doing your own Christmas light thing up there under the company? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you know how to sell jobs, you know how to run the crews, you know how to, you know, do the installs. He's like, why don't you just start selling jobs where you're going to college? And he said, you know, work something out with all the obviously legalities of it, but hire college friends, have them, you know, do the installs with you and start your own branch of the company up there. So when I was in college, we started our branch up outside of Syracuse. And we got a handful of installs up there for the Christmas lights. You know, my friends and I in college, you know, we did that. And then we had a great time. Again, same thing as when I was in high school.
Slow down. Wow.
Slowing down.
So you don't slow down, man. I love it. Yeah.
Oh.
So you're in high school. You're probably not even legally allowed to work. Here you are working, doing Christmas decorating. And then you basically form your own crew of your high school buddies. And in high school, you guys are probably, I mean, not just where you're with each other, but you're making money, right? So I mean,
Oh yeah,
as a high
we were
schooler,
having a great time. You know what?
Yeah,
At the time,
for sure.
to us, the money was great and like we loved it, but we were just having a good time after school.
Right,
we didn't even think about the money. I don't want to say that, but you know, we didn't think about the future that it held for us. We were just like, yeah, we're just gonna go hang out and hang Christmas lights after school. What can go wrong?
Some pizza money, right?
That's it.
That's all. And so then you went to college. You ended up doing that division of. It wasn't Thunder Lighting, right?
It wasn't Thunder. No, it was
whatever the name was. And then so like that was like first year you're in college and you're like, yeah, I'm doing Christmas out here. And then like what did that look like?
I went to college for 2 years. I got a handful of installs up outside of Syracuse. I know you're not far from there, but like the market is way different than Long Island. And it was just becoming a thing up there where like the upper class were still the only ones that were getting Christmas lights installed at the time up there. So it's just a different type of sale because on the island, people knew what to expect and, you know, how things worked. And up there, you threw someone a proposal and they were like, I was expecting to be like $150 to throw some lights in my bush. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, that's not what we do.
Right.
And so we ended up getting a good customer base up there. And, you know, I ran with it for a couple of years till I left the company. But again, we were just having a great time. We were in college, you know.
So did you make enough money doing that? Like you didn't have to work the rest of the college year?
Oh yeah. I mean, I did other stuff because I don't stop, which
obviously
right now. But we were making enough, you know, where I didn't have to work the rest of the year if I didn't want to in college. The people I hired obviously was a different story.
Sure.
But,
so when you were doing that, was there anything, I mean, that clearly doesn't sound like there was anything that was like, this part of business is so bad, maybe I should stick to the college path and do whatever college kids do?
I have to say the worst struggle I had in college hanging lights was storing a ladder on a college campus. And
Okay,
it sounds like a crazy thought to anyone, but like, I was able to store the install material in the back of my truck. We had it in our dorm rooms underneath our beds, and when we moved to a suite, me and my suite mates were all doing lights. We had a pile of lights in the corner of our suite.
Pre-balding.
Yeah. Listen, we would do takedown and obviously I was storing everything in our main warehouse on the island. So before I'd make it down here, we would have, all the install bins stacked up in our living room at our suite. Like nobody talks about where you could store a 32-foot ladder on a college campus. That's like one of the things nobody brought up.
That would be tough. Yeah, no shit.
That was people are always like, what's the struggle? That was my struggle in college hanging lights, was where to store a 32-foot ladder.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I haven't thought about that for sure. I mean, that even in a storage unit, it can be tough to find one that'll fit a 16-foot long because 32 collapsed. Wow. Yeah. Okay, cool. So made some money there, having fun. You still enjoyed it. But then did you come right home and right back working with Mike?
I was in school during COVID. My second year of college, I was going for a 2-year degree. I'm actually a diesel mechanic by trade. I have 4 years in higher education in diesel mechanics and agricultural equipment. And so I thought that was going to be my career path. But we got home during COVID, but right before that even was a thing and that was in the air and anybody knew what was happening with that, I knew Mike because I came and bought my lights from him. I, did some stuff with him on the side to help him out. And he's like, you need a job. And I'm like, well, I guess when I come home, I need a job. I really don't know what you're in college. They're talking about internships and corporations and, who you go work for being in the diesel mechanic field. It's like, all right, you're going to go work for Caterpillar, John Deere, go get a big time internship. And Mike owns a bunch of different companies. And one of the companies he owns is a landscaping company. He's like, I know you're a mechanic. I know you do lights. Would you want to come work for my landscaping company as a mechanic? And I'm like, sure. Like, sounds like a good gig. I knew him because he owned the lighting store and I'd go there and buy lights from him. And, I knew a bunch of people that knew him. And so we went out to lunch and we figured something out that worked out for best for us. And then when COVID hit and college shut down, I was like, hey, I'm home. He's like, all right, well, I'll see you tomorrow, come by and we'll get you set up. So I got set up and here I was, the diesel mechanic.
Wow, no shit. So that's how you started working for Mike originally, was working on the trucks and equipment. I mean, I've seen the impressive operation there. So what was it when you came back? It was work on the trucks and then you were going to help him with Christmas, or was Christmas not even a thought when you went?
So he, on top of the landscaping company, also does Christmas light installs. So we always knew I was going to be involved, whether it was with the installs or the store. I didn't quite know where we were going to pop into it, but he's like, obviously during the Christmas season, that takes precedence over, fixing the equipment and the trucks and the operations of the landscape company. Sure. So you'll fall into place there. And I was like, I roll with the flow. I was like, sure, let's do it,
Yeah. And then what did you end up doing that first year? Were you out on the truck or were you in the store? Like,
I was in the store with my coworker at the time. And we were, he's teaching me all the systems and stuff. And we really didn't have a training program in place to teach contractors, like the classes that you came out and taught with us. We didn't have any of those yet. So when a new contractor would want to come into it, Mike would say like, hey, just go out with them for the day, do an install with them, whether it's at their house or, somewhere. And I was like, cool. So I'd go out to the job site with them on their first install. I'd bring the material with me. We would do an install. I talked to the owner and the sales guys about, how they should price out jobs and how they should run their crews more efficiently. And I looked really young at the time. And I was doing this when I was 19. I was working for Mike. So, here's business owners is like this 19-year-old's telling us how to run our lighting business. And I'm like, all right, I got to give myself some self-accreditation here and be like, listen, I've been doing this since I was 14.
Right.
Trust me, it's going to work out. You'll make good money on it. And that's how we kind of got our training program started, is once it got to the point where we had too many contractors that wanted us to come on site with them. We were just like, all right, we need to standardize our training programs and, have something where they can come to our facility. We can teach them here. We have all the materials here. It's not like, oh, I didn't know I needed to bring a ladder to a Christmas light install. Like, all right, we have the ladders. We have the ladders here, so we don't need to, make sure that they have them preemptively.
Yeah.
That was the first year. And then it just evolved from there. After that, I really wasn't a mechanic anymore. I was, growing a lighting store.
So, that's a big jump, right? Obviously, you're working on diesel engines. Now you're running a Christmas store, well, supply store, let's call it, but focusing on Christmas, obviously that's where your jam was. That's what you knew inside and out, right?
Yeah.
After 5 years of been doing it. But like, did you have a conversation? Did you go to Mike and be like, Mike, like, I've been part of this thing. I think I'm going to better serve you in the store. Or was he like, oh shit, Grant, you just need to stay there. Fuck the engines. We'll get somebody else to do that. Like, how'd that conversation go?
We have another mechanic.
Okay.
That worked for the landscape company, and him and I
We didn't
get along the best.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie here. There's no great. We didn't get along the best, and it was one of those things where, he saw how I was performing in the store and how we were, changing things with that, better serving our customers, and he's like, "All right, it's growing. We need to, dedicate more time and resources to that. Let's pull back on the amount of mechanic work we're doing, and let's, get things rolling over here a little more." And we rolled with it.
Yeah, awesome. And then, so like, I guess, well, obviously you guys rebranded. You were a different company name. You came into Thunder Lighting. Like, this is obviously, well, I shouldn't say obvious. From the outside looking in, I don't actually know this, but was that like your momentum saying, "Hey, Mike, like, give me the keys to the kingdom of this portion and let me see what I can do with it"?
So it was one of those things, the name change, the rebrand. There's a couple reasons stacked on behind that.
Okay.
The one thing is the old company was Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini. It's very niched down specifically to wholesaling holiday lights. And when we were trying to, get into permanent lighting, architectural lighting, and landscape lighting, it was, keeping us held into the fact that we were a holiday light supplier, not a landscape lighting supplier or permanent lighting supplier. And the flip side to that is try sending an email to Grant at wholesaleholidaylightingbygiannini.com.
Yes.
If you could spell wholesale, you could spell Giannini, and you didn't put an extra, vowel in there somewhere, you were good. Yeah. And it was one of those things that it all folded together at the same time. Or, Mike, Angelo, and I at the time were like, all right, it's time that we figure out what we're going to be. And there was a lot of controversy on where we were going with, the name and what it was going to be and how it was going to be. And there's other, variables and factors. And there's probably about 30 to 40 names that got discussed between the three of us at the time of what we were going to do. And we finally narrowed it down to, a couple of domains. Are like, all right, let's see what domains are available. We bought the domains, and I was able to convince Mike Thunder Lighting was the way we were going with it, because he wasn't on board at first, but we kind of got him to see the vision, and now he's all in on it. So,
well, I'm sure he's all on it now. I mean, you guys are fucking killing it, right?
Well, the thing was, we were like, oh, Thunder Lighting, we're like, if it doesn't work, we'll just change the name again. That was a real conversation we're having. Like, oh, if we don't like it, we change the name once. What's one more time?
Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, listen, it's one of those things where it was definitely a burden, and there's a huge cost associated with. You don't realize how many things have your name on them, so you gotta go throw it all out and start fresh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But, definitely worth it. We did it right at the end of a Christmas light season as we were rolling into a landscape lighting season.
Sure.
And, again, same thing with like logo, conceptual designs and all that stuff. There's controversy there. What should it look like? What should the vision be? How should it be brandable? And we had to teach Mike what a brand is versus a logo and a company name. What branding is versus marketing. That was the thing. Yeah. I still don't know if he fully gets it, but, we always pulled out like, Nike is a check mark. What's that have to do with Nike? And they sell sneakers. Right. That was my big, or Apple sells computers, like the whole full circle of it doesn't need to be niche down to, wholesaleholidaylighting.com.
Right. As a guy who was only the Christmas guys for 15 years and then was like, hey, I'm doing other things. It was confusing, right? Barefoot lighting. I totally get it. And then, it's expensive.
It's the same exact thing with barefoot lighting, puts you under an umbrella of lighting.
Right. Exactly. So I could
just don't get into outdoor. Don't get into outdoor audio. You're going to screw yourself.
That's right. Just write audio underneath. All right. So like, are you in charge of like it in terms of Thunder Lighting? Like, does Mike come to you and say, what is your plan? Like, are you the one, Grant, you're in charge of making this thing a thing? Because you guys, I know that first year you did the rebrand, you were at trade shows, fucking beach balls going everywhere, fucking 5-gallon buckets, like out of like who the fuck? Like Grant came out. It felt like Grant came out of like nowhere. I know you were doing things right, but it's the overnight success story type of deal. What happened there? Like, because you were like, not that you guys weren't known, but you weren't known like you are now, right? I mean, I think we can all agree to that.
And it was one of those things. There wasn't a really clear vision on, what we were, who we were, what we looked like. So, even though we've been around wholesaling lights since 2007, there was no unificity. There's nothing unifying us. I think I just made a word up there. There's nothing unifying us, what we should look like, what our branding should be. And that was a big part of the rebrand is, all right, this is what we're going to look like. So we were doing the same trade shows, but now every time you went to the show, it looked the same, and that's a big thing I push to my customers is, it doesn't matter what your name is. It doesn't matter if it's spelt right, but what your company looks like should be written out so everyone knows what they should be doing. We all wear gray shirts and red shirts. That's it. So, there's no green, there's no purple, there's a big argument right now whether we're going to do a breast cancer awareness shirt. I'm kind of iffy on it because we don't know if, it's going to get worn other times during the year or not.
Right.
The marketing guys are pushing hard for pink shirts for, a month. And I'm like, I'm
a believer in pink. Let's go.
Yeah, listen, I'm a believer in pink, but it doesn't match that, strict branding line that we put out there.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, and again, we roll with it. We're a small business. So someone says, hey, let's give away beach balls at a trade show because who doesn't like beach balls? We have beach balls 2 days later. It's not like we need to jump through, hoops and ladders to get, what our vision is. It's like, cool, it's in the budget. Check. Let's get beach balls.
Sure.
What's that? We want to bring a popcorn machine to the next trade show. Let's go get a popcorn machine. We give out popcorn now at trade shows.
Right.
Who doesn't? Everyone gives out string bags at trade shows. When's the last time anybody used a string bag besides a high school or going to gym class? Like everyone uses 5-gallon buckets. Let's give away practical things at shows. Yeah. And so that's really where, again, it's just being in the industry, being that we've done the work, we've been out there. It was time for us to just, make things practical for everyone.
Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, it definitely garnered attention, right? Like giving out, like all of a sudden there's just like hundreds of people walking around with fucking 5-gallon buckets around the trade shows. I'm like, how brilliant. Now, I don't know how those people are getting them on planes or anything like that, but how brilliant.
That's not my problem.
That's right.
The harder
Who doesn't want a $5 bucket?
Get them all in.
Right. Yeah.
These guys are walking out with one. We're walking in with 200 of them. It's like, all right, let's strategically figure out how not to use a pallet jack, but still bring a pallet of buckets into a trade show.
Yeah. And that's just a brilliant thing. Talk about branding, right? Because we can all go to Home Depot and get, I think, like $4.97 for a 5-gallon bucket. But when you get one for free, it might as well be worth $500. Like, it's so funny because we all use a 5-gallon bucket. So, I mean, kudos to whoever thought that through and kudos to actually following through, putting the sticker or whatever it was on there. I know it was branded. So that was awesome.
Oh, yeah. They come like that from the manufacturer. Finding a 5-gallon bucket manufacturer. That was, again, everything's, small. Let's do it. And then it's all right. Let's put it into play. And sourcing a 5-gallon bucket manufacturer stateside was a fun project, but we got it done.
Okay. Yeah. I would have just like bought the 5-gallon bucket, put a vinyl sticker on. Like you guys took it to a different level. So that's awesome. Because I remember I would always say Giovanni, right? Giovanni. I can't ever say it. So like, I would never remember you guys. Like I would know you, but I wouldn't know how to actually find you. Like, and that's a real thing, right? Like, I'd be like, Giovanni, who sells Christmas lights? I was like, well, nope, can't find him. But that's, awesome in terms of the brand. What was like your biggest hurdle? Did you have any pushback from old customers? Like, were people confused? Like, what was a hurdle you wanted to face?
A lot of the customers understood it. We started out as a very local business, in-store purchases only. We didn't ship for our first, 10 to 12 years in business. You walked in, you got your lights, and you walked out.
Sure.
We were barely running a local delivery route for most of those. So a lot of the old-time customers were like, oh, here it goes. They're going to ruin the industry now. They're, making themselves known, and they have this. And we're like, guys, we're trying to educate everyone here so that everyone's on the same page of what they should be charging, how they should be doing the install. We're trying to grow ourselves to help the industry grow as a whole. I look at it like the power washing industry. 10 years ago, nobody called someone to have their house power washed. Now every single person, nobody has a power washer anymore. The kids aren't outside power washing, they call the power washing company to come do it. And I think Christmas lights and, outdoor lighting is going to be the same thing. When it becomes known that people pay money for it, it doesn't become so unseen or, oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
You and I being in the industry for so long, we used to get pushback like that all the time. Like, what do you do for a living? Oh, we hang Christmas lights. What do you do the rest of the year? Right. Get ready to hang Christmas lights. It's one of those things where
it was almost a joke.
Yeah, it was, and it still is to some people, but
for sure,
I think that it's getting more and more known, and as more and more people are doing it, it's becoming a standardized thing across the country.
Yeah, no, I mean, because I started doing Christmas lighting back in 2009, and I mean, even now, a lot of clients, but I mean, the hardest part was teaching this market that it actually was a thing, like, because people weren't active. There was no Google search volume for, we hang lights, Christmas light installation, whatever you want to say. So yeah, that was a very expensive, education process for them. And for all these new guys that come in, don't even give me a thank you, motherfuckers. No, but
thank you.
No, I'm in my neighborhood.
Sorry.
I'm being silly, but all right. So you went. Let's go full circle. You are a diesel mechanic, slinging Christmas lights, right? And I say that with all love and attention. But is there ever a time has it ever been so hard where you're just like, fuck, maybe I should have went and found the John Deere job?
I don't think so, because people are always happy about outdoor lighting. It's not like getting your house re-sheetrocked where they're like, gosh, it's something I have to do. Like, people want to do this, and there's an emotional connection between the lighting projects when they're done right and the people who are paying for them. You look at, other home service businesses, like landscaping's been around for a while. And I use this example because I've seen it, someone might not want to pay to get their lawn cut every week. It's $50 a week, but they'll pay $5,000 to get their Christmas lights done one time. No problem. Right. And it's because there's that emotional connection, because you see, it's night, day. House is dark one day. Next day you come home, boom, lit up. And same thing with landscape lighting. That instant transformation is so gratifying for the homeowners and the contractors, where people aren't, there's like, oh, I got to go sling some more pipes tomorrow, Mr. Johns. I got to, put a toilet in. It's like, I'm going to light up this house, and it's going to look killer when it's done. And I'm going to brag about it, all over the internet, because it looks that good. It's not like it's another toilet, it's another faucet, it's another sheetrocked wall.
Yep.
So
I always say it's an exciting thing, right? Like when a plumber comes and has to put a new pipe and a new elbow bracket, that's not exciting. I'm not like, hell yeah. Like, but when you're coming to do Christmas lights or lights at house, like, that's exciting for that family. Like, that is something they're going to use every day and see, versus, the plumber, they're going to use it every day, but it's just not exciting.
They're not going to remember it.
Right. All right. Two more things. And these are where we get maybe a little spicy. Training. You mentioned it. Now, you have guys on the Facebooks, right? Like, blaming all you trainers. Well, me too, but I'm going to focus on you. Yes. Blaming us. You're training too many people. You're ruining the market. You're watered down. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry have a Christmas light company. You kind of hinted on it, but one, do you agree with them? And then, why does Thunder Lighting do training? And
so I don't agree with them, because if you've been around longer and you want to consider yourself, the seniors, people that have been around for a while and done it, the better company, then be the better company. You've had, let's say you've been around 5 years longer. You've had 5 more years to market yourself, 5 more years to brand yourself, 5 more years to bring out a customer base. So they shouldn't be affecting you. And the second thing that I don't like is, even when I was an installer, we're all in the same industry, and it's not a huge industry as big as it is.
Right.
Help the people that are around you, because one day you're going to need them. Even being in the supply industry or the install industry, why are you going to create bad blood with your competition? It's just going to make that new guy fight harder to want to put you down.
Right.
If you're that old time installer and I'm the new kid on the block and you're talking down to me, guess what? You just fueled my fire to go do better than you. And it's that simple. And I kind of think it's funny, because the guys that now complain about, there's so many people, it's so saturated.
You're right.
They were the new people 5 years ago. They were the new people 3 years ago. And now they're just, the next wave of competition's coming in, and, being that I've been in the supply industry 6 years now, I've seen it full circle twice now with the people that have been in it for 3 years. Guy starts with me year one. 3 years later, he's complaining about the new guys. 3 years after that, he's complaining about the new guys. And it's like,
yeah.
Why don't you focus on your vision as a company and not what your competitors are doing?
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I totally agree. I mean, even here locally, when someone gets new into the game, like I'll call them and it introduce hey, I know they know who I am at this point, but the vast majority never return my call. And it's like, it makes no sense to me. The few that have are still in business because there's just plenty of work. And the people who are always saying, oh, you're watering down our industry, blah, 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 blah. It's so frustrating because, I've been doing this since 2009. So, everyone complaining has been after me. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, one, the industry growing helps all of us, period. And look at HVAC, look at plumbing. There's even power washing, all of it. It's funny how people get locked in. And even though none of us came up with this idea in terms of we invented this industry, but it's like, no, it's mine. I have to protect it. Everyone else is a loser. It's super weird. But one thing cool about you're doing the training too, and I've never been to one of your Christmas trainings, but I've done the landscape lighting and I've know guys that come. Like, you get to help elevate a whole market. It's not just, obviously the end goal, you sell more lights. Beautiful, makes total sense. But you can set a standard for that whole freaking Long Island or whatever you guys call it out there, right? Isn't
the Long Islanders,
you Long Island folk? So I think it's awesome. I get it, but man, it is funny to see how many people complain about it, and I just love that you guys keep doing it and you do it for free, which even pisses more people off.
And we see people coming in now from across the country, to fly. We have people flying into our trainings. 2 years ago, someone would say, "Oh, we're going to fly into your training." I'm like, "Fly into our training," and now I'm like, we had a class maybe it was a month ago, and like majority of the class was from out of state. And I was like, it just came full circle to me. I'm like, wait, more people are here from out of state than from, a 10-mile radius like it used to. I'm like, that's awesome. Like, that was an unknown goal to me to have that happen.
Yeah.
And like you said, the end goal is to sell more lights. But if I can help you make more money, that's the real goal here. When I was younger, we were always taught, help people out the most you can. It's the right thing to do. I'm here to help all the contractors the best I can so that they can do better.
Right.
I've seen it now. There's companies that have been, 3-4 years here. It's changed their lives starting a business, whether they were in another business before and they, heard the idea of lighting and they just wanted to do it, or, they saw something on Facebook or TikTok and they're like, let's give it a shot. Or, maybe they were, doing it on a small scale and then they didn't realize, what potential is in the industry.
Yeah.
And, just being able to help them, grow a business to doing, millions of dollars of revenue a year is just a mind-blowing thought in such a short period of time.
Yeah. And I love it too, because even if you did charge for your training, I don't think there's anything wrong with charging for training, right? Because I know I do trainings. There's like a real cost associated with that.
Of course.
But when you do it, even if you're just charging to cover costs, whatever, like when you do it with hey, I need to train you and help you along good enough that you're going to buy enough lights from me that one, I cover training or I actually make money on all these employees that I have, all this product that I brought in for this training. I love it because it keeps like, no, you have to understand I'm invested because I need you to do good. Like, this isn't about just teaching you how to sling some lights and slam some gutters, right?
If it wasn't such a big part of, who we are, what we do, I would almost want to charge a training cost just to guarantee people are going to show up.
Right.
I feel like when you get something for free, you take it for granted that it's there. And we see that a lot of times, and it swings both ways. Sometimes we'll run a class, 10 people will be signed up, 25 people will show up. We're like, guys, do you RSVP? Oh, I thought I was just going to show up. And then it swings the other way, the next class where you got 30 people signed up and 10 show up. And you're like,
right.
Everyone's taking home leftovers for lunch because we're not going to eat an extra 20 people's worth of food in the next 2 days.
Right.
But it's became a huge part of our business. And what we do is, we're not in the business to make money off trainings. And listen, there's nothing wrong with charging for trainings,
Right.
but it just became a core part of our business that we can't change it now.
Right. Well, and I know you are also there. Well, you're not like business coaches. You're there to answer questions or help them with like, hey, I'm bidding this weird thing I've never bid before. or even me and you. Hey Grant, what's some new cool shit you have coming in that isn't
every
normal?
year. Every year,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, here it comes. What's new and abnormal? What's different for this year? And I'm like, all right, let me pull out my bag of tricks. And, left corner, we have the new color.
That's right. Well, I fell in love with spritzers a few years ago, and I was just like, oh my God, send more. I was at one point I had to be just like, hey, Grant, wait till the end of the day. I'm probably going to text you randomly. Ooh, 10 of these.
It'll be like, listen, it's 2:00 in the afternoon now. Your order's probably going to go out tomorrow. And you're like, all right, just put it on the back burner. Text me at 1:00 tomorrow, and we'll finalize what we're getting. You're like 6 of purple and 3 of blue and 2 pinks and 1 twinkly one.
They all got a twinkle. God damn it.
Yep.
But yeah, and you guys ship super fucking fast. So before we talk about the other thing, how the hell do you ship so fast? Like, because I order from tons of people, and yes, you're close, so I know the delivery is shorter, but you also ship like fucking fast.
It just became, like we said, one of the core things of who we are and what makes us what we are as a company is nobody during Christmas light season wants to wait 6 days to hear their products left the door.
Yeah, true.
Someone wants to hear, hey, your order gets in by noon, it's leaving our door today.
Right.
Whether our guys are staying here till 9-10 o'clock at night to make sure it gets on that last FedEx truck that's going to go to the depot and they're going to send it right then and there, or it's going to be the first thing that gets pulled off the shelf at 6:00 in the morning. We built our business around speed and service, and we can't change that as we scale.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. And obviously I mentor at least one or two of the guys that, use you guys as their supplier. And so, I know the quality of the training, the quality of support you offer in those. So kudos to you, because I know it can get pretty easy to be like, well, I make more money just selling lights, so call somebody else, right? It can be super easy to do that, especially in season when we know even let's say probably 95% of the contractors, we wish they were planning for Christmas right now. They're not.
Oh, please. Yeah.
It'd be like November.
Like a November 3rd thought.
Like,
oh, yeah.
Oh,
it's funny because we see it come up in our phones. We'll mess with our customers because we're people. And that's what we are. We'll be like, they'll call us for the first time. It'll be like August, September. I'll be like, hey, what's going on? Just want to see if you got a new price list. I'm like, oh, would you forget about me for the past 9 months? Forgot to call and say hi. We could go get lunch if you want all July. There's nothing going on here in July. You got plenty of days free to, go hang out. But nope, you're going to call me in September and be like, hey, buddy. And I'll be like, I know where this one's going. It's almost comical because it usually happens like the same week. Everyone just comes out of the woodworks unpronounced to, each other.
Right. All right. The big thing, selling Christmas lights versus leasing, renting. Now I know your model, we used to be at least selling the lights. It's also my model. It's what I do. Are you still teach, train, educate on sell your lights?
I am. And I think there's a bunch of reasons on why I sell to our customers that they should be selling over leasing. And my biggest underlying one is year one, you're making more money because the full material cost is covered year one by the homeowner.
Yep.
And I only ever sold lights. I never even worked on a leasing project or worked for a company that leased lights. So I know how they work as companies because we work with a ton of contractors that lease them. Sure. But in my mind, I don't know what I would do if a customer left me and I was stuck with their lights. I'm like, do I repurpose them for the next? I'd feel bad putting used lights on someone's houses when I just charged them $4,000 to put lights on their roof.
Sure.
And so to me, it was one of those things even when I started teaching, it was like, this is what I know. This is what I like doing. And I like doing it because it's easier for us as a company. We start a new house. We're starting fresh.
Right.
Someone leaves. They take their lights with them. They don't want to take them with them. I'll throw them in the dumpster in the back. I'll give them to my guys to take home and give to their families.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But new house, new lights, customer pays for them. And that's how it works. And it helped. The last company that I was with, when I started with them, we were about 70 homes when I started. When I left, we were just pushing about the 500 mark. And it was one of the things that helped us scale cash flow wise was first year, materials cover costs, done. And then we're just making our money on labor. We're not a company here for leasing. we're a company to help you put up your Christmas lights.
Right.
And again, churn happens, no problem. Customer leaves us, take their lights with them. We start fresh with the next person.
Yeah. I think it's funny because I always hear a lot of pushback of like, well, you'll just, everyone who sells their lights, they're just going to open up. The client's going to get someone cheaper. And I'm like, my very first client in 2009 is still my client. So like my data and my churn rate don't support your hypothetical thing. So if you're losing to people that are cheaper, I don't think you're losing on price. I mean, if that's what the clients are focusing on, that's literally your problem. That's how your branding, that's how your marketing is. So you want to play on price, someone's going to come up underneath you. I play on experiences. And I mean, personally, I love the fact that everyone rents or leases lights. And I can see the business model.
It makes it so much easier for me to sell against them.
Oh boy, does it. I'm like, oh, you're leasing a car from, oh, I meant lights, right? How much? You have to pay how much and you don't even own them? Like, I love it, right? But if everyone was selling, I'd probably go to leasing because you become a different.
Sell against them, be different.
Yeah, but I agree. And so have you taught sold? You did selling for the other company? I mean, I'm guessing it's the same as me. Otherwise, you would have switched. Like, I don't see huge churn rates, like any different than you do any other business, right? Like,
we were doing some statistical research a couple of years ago, and most companies don't know their statistical numbers. But I went out and asked about 10 contractors that do holiday light installs. What's your annual churn rate? What are you seeing every year? Whether it was leasing or sales, across the board, everyone said they kept 90+% of their customers.
Yeah.
And
most people don't want to switch.
It was like higher than 90, but like, again, they don't know their numbers. So
sure. It's 100%. I don't ever lose a single person.
Yeah. They're ballparking it off left field. We got to hide, no, everyone said the same thing, hey, that's what it is. And back to the whole, I have value, I take pride in what I sell to my customers, whether it's contractors or when I was selling to homeowners, I want what's best for them. And that's really, in my mind, what's best for the homeowner is for them to own the lights because they're getting the same quality lights, the same exact lights on their house every year. And if I'm not the right fit for them and their right move is to leave, they can take it with them. No hurt feelings, I want what's right for you. And I think that's something that really comes full circle is, you're not a salesperson. You're there to give them what they want and make sure that they make the right educated decision. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to help you.
Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, I rent for like oversized decor for commercial clients because they don't want to own, but that's a whole
and that's a big nut to swallow,
Yeah.
Who has in their budget to spend $55,000 on buying a tower tree? I mean, that's a lot of money for some of these corporations to lay out in 1 year. So, and again,
tax reasons. I was talking to one of them, like, no, it is better for us. It's a full write-off every year when we rent. If we buy, they have to, do the whole tax thing in over 5 years or 3 years. I don't know what the exact number is.
Depreciation of the value of the product. Yep.
Yeah. And it's like Christmas lights. So like, how much do I depreciate it each year? Like, but yeah, for homeowners, I love it. Hey, you move, you like literally move to out of state, which happens a lot, living in New York, people want to leave. Just come get them, take them. Most of them are just like, no, just donate them. And we give them to our guys or Make-A-Wish or we do a veterans thing where we help them out. So, I love it. I do want to do a sell versus rent / lease. I say rent to take a dig at them, by the way, at some point. So I'll have you back on. We can debate that with guys doing real revenue, doing both things and talk about it. Cool, man. So I love your story. It's so cool to see like a 14-year-old kid accidentally, gets into this thing. Because his teacher's like, hey, you're too dumb to go to college. Why don't you go work for my brother?
Listen, full circle.
Yeah, it's awesome. What is up next for Thunder Lighting? Like any, what are you guys working on?
Still trying to get this new building whole squared away and just really start to elevate our landscape lighting and permanent lighting games. We're newer to the permanent lighting field. We've been doing landscape lighting for a handful of years now. We just got some new staff members onboarded to help our contractors out who have experience in those fields, which is awesome.
Nice.
We just hired in a tech support guy just specifically to help our contractors with permanent lighting and landscape lighting installs, which was huge for us. As much as I love playing in the field, because that's me, I don't stop.
Yeah.
It's not something we can, handle on our own anymore. So, we needed people for that, and really just trying to, drive in, the best training processes for our customers. Make sure we have the best, presentations, but also like after training follow-ups and after training resources for all of our customers. So it's something we like to redo them every year, just because things change, what we know changes, knowledge changes, the industry changes. And we want to keep it relevant and modern. You could tell when you go to a training class, or you could tell when you go, look at someone's website, and they haven't touched it in 4 or 5 years. And it's just not something you want to see. And it's not something, it's not useful. It's not useful for but it's not useful for the buyer, and it's not useful for the seller, because if your website's not up to date, they're going to call you and ask you a ton of questions. And they're also inconvenienced because they couldn't find what they needed, and now they need to call you.
Right.
And so it's something that I see is, it's constantly, everything's always evolving. And if you just let something set and like let it work, if it's not growing, it's declining. Yeah. It's in descent. So.
All right. Before we leave, one last question. You got a guy, maybe this is his 2nd year, 3rd year. He's doing power washing or landscaping. He's doing some other thing. He wants to do Christmas. He did it 1 year, 2nd year now. What is your biggest piece of advice for that guy?
And I think this is a general business across the board. It's not even specific to the Christmas light business.
Okay.
If you can stay organized and get your systems and processes in place and documented when you have one employee, you'll be able to scale so much quicker, because it's not always, hey, Matt. It's, I got to go look at, my SOP, or I got to go look through my binder. I got to, ask AI. I got to ask my AI assistant in my business, hey, I'm stuck at this, what should I do? And it'll know, because it's documented, it's written down, and they know what to do. Where if you span, 6 or 7 employees without having anything documented, and the whole business relies on you, how can you expect it to take the next step and grow? It's not going to. So if you could start that, I went and visited a company out in Jersey, great guys. They're younger than me, and it's their like 2nd or 3rd year in business. They went from 0 employees to like 10 full-time employees in 1 year.
Wow.
And I just spent a day at their shop. I didn't even ask them how they did it, but you could see how they did it. Inside every truck, there's a list of what to do every morning taped to the dashboard. 7:15, check in. 7:30, check the gas, check, the power washers to make they have gas, check the oil. 7:45, visit with the sales team, get the day's route. 8 o'clock, leave yard to start work. And it's like, you don't think that you need that, but you do, because every guy knows exactly what to do at every time throughout the day, because it's documented. And they're going to scale. I think their goal this year is like 4 million or 6 million. And they hired their first employee last year at this time. And I think they're going to make it there with every single bit of it. And, I'm here to cheer them on the sidelines, because they deserve it, but it's not rocket science. It's pretty simple on what you need to do it. That's my advice on, first couple years in business, document everything and make it repeatable for someone else, so you can go on to the next thing.
Hell yeah. Great advice. All right, Grant, I appreciate you. You guys want to check out Grant, go to thunderlightingsupply.com, or you can find them on the social medias. It's all on their website, I'm sure.
The interwebs.
In the interwebs. All right, buddy. Appreciate you. We're going to end this, but don't close your computer. All right. This has been Captain's Quarters First Class.